6 a.m. Texas still sucks, and I need coffee. That's right, coffee. Devil Dogs coffee. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. There is only one coffee with aroma that gets you going like that. Devil Dogs. Bold brews, unwavering spirit. It's Devil Dogs. Hey, folks, I'm Jason Watkins, the host of Hall of Fame College Football, and the coach and I could not be prouder than to be able to announce our partnership with Devil Dogs Brew and Beans, a veteran-owned premium coffee brand that is dedicated to providing coffee and tea that embodies the spirit, dedication, and fearlessness of our American military men and women. Devil Dogs premium coffee, beans, and teas are sourced from all over the world, each chosen for their rich, distinct, and unique flavor that is sure to rouse your senses and make you look forward to waking up to that first cup every day. Experience each blend or tea leaf at its best, as Devil Dogs roasts, grinds, and ships your coffee directly to your door the same day your order is received, ensuring maximum freshness direct to your doorstep. Use our link every time and get free shipping anywhere in the continental United States. But on this first order, just make sure that you use promo code BOOMER and you'll get 10% off of your purchase. So get in there, check out our new mugs that are with our Hall of Fame and the Devil Dog logo, not to mention a nice little message that'll perk up all you Sooner fans each morning. But you know what I like best about this? I'll tell you what, 5% of each sale at Devil Dogs is donated to the Wounded Warrior Project. That's right, the Wounded Warrior Project. That's why I wanted to partner with these guys. It's veteran-owned and serving veterans. Make sure that you log on to the website that you see there at the bottom right of your screen, hofmedia.us/coffee. Look, if you use the promo code BOOMER on your first purchase, you get 10% off everything that you buy. Guys, this is a win-win for everybody. Help us out, help us help them out, and support the show that you love all in one deal. Plus, you get amazing freaking coffee at that. Let's go! Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Folks, thanks a lot for sitting through that little commercial. I'm going to shorten it up and all that, but I just wanted to pop it out there for everybody so you see it. It's always in the description as well, so that you can get in there, check out our website, and hey, make sure you get on there and order some of that stuff. It helps out our it definitely helps out all veterans, and it's a veteran-owned company, so it's definitely something I'm excited about. Welcome into the show, everybody. Hankster, Mars Jams, Kim, Stephen G, Sooner Lemon, Robbie. What's up, Robbie Martin? Who else we got in here? Who am I missing? Steve B, Kim. Hey man, all the regulars are in here. We got a special guest in here tonight, gonna fill in. The coach won't be here. He's already doing Thanksgiving stuff with family in Lubbock. So we've got our boy from Coach I's show, the stat guy, Jeff the stat guy. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on. Glad to be in here with the Mafia. Hey, for all y'all that haven't been using this company before, man, I'm just excited now I get free delivery because I be loving the Firewatch. Man, if you like a dark roast coffee, man, the Firewatch is the way to go. My personal favorite. That's what I rock out to at 6 a.m.
That's what's up, man. That's cool, man. Yeah, I'm glad you. Yeah, and I think Coach I is going to be probably pumping that as well. So it's good stuff, man. It's I got my first batch of it last week, and then got the coffee cup as well. You know, the 6 a.m. Texas still sucks, so that's always working. That's that with the coffee, it helps perk you up a little bit too. Good stuff. What's up, guys? Everybody saying what's up to Stat Guy? Hey, yep. Glad everybody's in here, guys. Make sure you have wiped your feet, please. I'm sure most of you guys in here have. Yeah. So, guys, we're gonna get into a few different things. Wanted to definitely gonna jump in. I want to talk a little Heisman stuff. You know, because I think it should be a foregone conclusion at this point. I don't think it is, and in fact, I think they might end up giving it to the wrong guy. Stat. We'll talk about that a little bit. Talk a little bit about the Iron Bowl. We can talk a little bit about your Palmetto Bowl game against the those hated Clemson Tigers up there. I was trying to see if old Seawall would come on here and get an argument started, but you know he's too busy, so he couldn't get on.
Round two, baby.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was fun. I was fun watching you guys go back and forth on Twitter today. Then we'll talk a little bit about the Michigan-Ohio State game as well. Florida State playing Florida without Jordan Travis. Can they win? I mean, or can Florida win? I guess would be the better question. And then was going to probably just kind of preview a little bit what's going on in the Civil War game between Oregon and Oregon State. Obviously, it has implications for the CFP and the Heisman for that matter. And then whose seats are the hottest around college football. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And so, yeah. Can you take OU and Texas early? This Big 12 conference is crazy. Stat. That's yeah. I was saying that just earlier. I'm sick of it. I'm ready to get out. But I don't know how welcome everybody's going to be in the SEC either. So the welcoming party may be a little less than what some Sooner fans are hoping for, right, Stat?
Yeah, I mean, it really, looking just at like the teams. Obviously, everybody knows who they're playing next year. But no dates have been released, and that's going to be the crazy thing. We lose Georgia off the schedule that we play week 3 every year. Like, who's sliding into that slot? Is it going to be the Oklahoma, or is it going to be an Ole Miss or somebody? I mean, that's going to be the thing is the SEC could really have a say if they line up like y'all play Bama. Like, if y'all get Bama and somebody else back-to-back, like that could be brutal if y'all don't get a bye week after Bama. And so the SEC can be a nightmare depending on how they line your schedule up.
No doubt. Hey, let's see. Hey, we got our first super chat from Tanya. She sends us a sticker. Thank you, Tanya. We appreciate that. She's already one of the buyers of some of that coffee. How you liking it so far? Let us know what you think. And I think you got. Did you get the sample pack or what did you get, Tanya? Let us know what you got and what you think of it. But thank you very much for the super sticker. Let's see. Yeah, man, it's I tell you, this is kind of wild all the way around the country, too. And it's going to be a lot of fun this week, right? It's going to be a lot of fun though this week. I think you got some games that are going to be. I guess we could kind of start with a little bit. I mean, we'll get into OU and stuff here in just a second, but let's holler about some of this stuff that we probably won't have to talk about that long. The Iron Bowl. Is there any way in hell that Auburn can like make a game of this when they just lost to New Mexico State at home by 21? I mean all you guys talking about how freaking crazy it is, and Jordan Hare just kind of took a hit, right, on that one.
But in the end of the day, man, it's the Iron Bowl, right? Like, I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
The kick six. I mean, crazy stuff. I will tell you, if Alabama doesn't put them away in the first half, they could be in trouble. If it's a game late in the third quarter going into the fourth quarter, then you could see some Jordan Hare magic. But I think Alabama
drawing something up or whatever,
I think Bama just rolls in and puts them away early. But end of the day, man, it's the Iron Bowl. And when it's a rivalry, we've seen it elsewhere too. Two teams hate each other. Somebody lands the blow to knock them out.
Yeah, man, it feels like it should be a blowout, but you never know. I guess never count on Auburn at home. I'm kind of with old sipping on this though, Hank. Whenever whenever he was talking last week about that stuff doesn't matter to Oklahoma. They haven't dealt with that, so they've never had to deal with that Jordan Hare magic or whatever you want to call it. So, you know, they kind of go into that game next year because they got them on the road next year. That's something that they were thinking that we were talking about last week. But you never know, man. You never know. Stat, where do you see Rattler going in the draft? Robbie asks.
I'm crossing my fingers he decides to come back another year, but he's played too well. He's played himself up. The big issue was never the arm. It was always what was between the ears. And I think this last year and a half, he's completely silenced the critics there. I mean, you look at Caleb Williams refusing to talk to reporters after losing to UCLA. And while being 2-6, he gets up behind the podium and takes blames for losses when he was still playing good football. I think he's probably the 4th or 5th quarterback off the board. So probably mid to late 2nd round. I mean, something could go crazy and people could trade up, but I think probably somewhere in the late 2nd round is where we see him go.
Yeah, I think he's probably played himself up to that, don't you think? I think that's probably pretty good. Hey, looky there. Here's old Christian from Lone Star. I hadn't seen him in a while. Not ready yet? Not ready yet? I'll wait a minute. Let me know. Yeah, he ain't ready. All right. There's old Christian. He'll be in here too. Let's see. SEC has no idea about Sooner Magic. Jason, you know it's real. I do know it's real. I do know it. I've seen it. I've seen it. Let's see. Tired of hearing about the SEC nightmare that is coming for OU. Just bring your ass. Let's see where the chips fall. I like it, Sooner. I like it, Sooner in Texas. Look, I think that get to find out. That's the good news of it is, you don't know. You don't know how you're going to deal with it until you're in it. But I know this is that Oklahoma is. We talked about this a bunch, guys, and I mean I've busted up on stat about this. Is Oklahoma and Texas, they play against these guys anyway. They doesn't bother them, and so now you get to go through the rigors of it. I think like what Coach I and Shawty were talking about last week. It's like it's not just that you're playing Bama or Georgia or whoever. It's having them and then having LSU the next week or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? You're going to have those hangover games. I think we got our guy ready in here now. Let's see. There he is. What's up, Chris?
How's it going?
Welcome to the show, sir. Appreciate you coming in. The stat guy from Coach I show, the Fanatic Sports.
Fanatic, yes. I've talked with him. I think
this is that guy. He's on with Coach I a lot. So nice. they have that show that they do together and stuff. This is Christian Harrington from the Lone Star College Football Channel. Him and we're missing his partner tonight, Logan. He's got some other stuff going on. But, hey, man, these guys are pretty good little creators themselves, man. They built a nice little channel, and they do a lot of cool stuff, man. So welcome in, man. I haven't seen you much lately. I wanted to get you on here to talk some shit about the Big 12 for sure. But there's
one of my favorite topics.
I figured it was. Yeah. So what's up, man? You feeling good about Texas this week, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I like our odds against a school like Texas Tech. Unfortunately, we seem to play down to some competition, so you never know what we can do to mess around. But I think Coach Sark has us in a good spot. I think he's got this team actually kind of focused. Like understanding that
10 wins, bro. First time to 10 wins. Go figure.
Yeah. And I think he's got them focused. And I think that's something that we've missed for so long is just having a team that can say, hey, the goal is still here. Now let's just go achieve it. And for so long, we've seen a Texas team that the destiny's in their hand messes it up. And it's fun. It's exciting. I've been a Longhorn fan as far back as I can remember watching football. But I've only been actually following it like me choosing to follow it for like the last 13 years.
Yeah.
We hadn't done anything in those years.
Youngsters,
so
dude.
I'm just happy. Right. I'm just happy that finally my years of suffering and staying faithful.
Yeah.
Getting to enjoy some college football, and it's fun. We need a little bit of help for the playoffs, but we'll see.
Right. Yeah, listen, I think that but you at least hold your it appears that you hold your destiny in your hands. Now, depending on what happens as far as I think that Florida State getting Jordan Travis hurt that more. I feel like that sucks for them, but I don't know that they were necessarily going to beat Louisville anyway. I don't know. I mean, I think Louisville's probably I think they've been the best team in the ACC. So I think that one's going to be a good one. But I think that without them, they don't really have a chance, right? I mean, they could even lose this week. I mean, we were just kind of talking about that. What do you think about that one, Stat? Were you saying that you think Florida might be able to win that game?
No, so Graham Mertz got hurt as well last week. So he was trying to break some tackles, took a shot, and then came out a couple plays later after handing the ball off, and it looked like a collarbone injury. So I do not believe he's going. Maybe if they had Graham Mertz, but Florida's not good. I know they beat the hell out of my Gamecocks, but they're not a good football team. I think Florida State still kind of wins easily, but I do, looking forward, I liked Florida State a lot over Louisville in Charlotte being on neutral field because Louisville hasn't played any of the traditional powers of the ACC. They didn't play Florida State. They didn't play Clemson. They didn't play North Carolina. So they had a very favorable schedule in the ACC. Horrible loss at Pittsburgh. I do without Jordan Travis, I like Louisville a lot heading into that game to kind of control there. I mean, you're looking potentially a top 5 win for them heading into winning the conference championship. I mean, that could potentially, if some stuff gets crazy, look out for Louisville jumping into the top 4.
No doubt.
It would take a lot though for that. I mean, that
think
loss
it would take an awful lot, man, right? Because the ACC hasn't been great, right?
Right, but you think about it. If Florida State stays in that 5 hole, I mean, they would have arguably one of the better wins in the conference championship week. If you're talking about some people falling to where now they could potentially jump.
Lost the Pitt, right? Didn't they lost the Pitt?
Yeah, they lost the Pitt. But I mean,
I would say that if they beat a fully healthy Florida State team, then maybe the committee would give them that benefit of the doubt. But beating a team with a quarterback gone, especially a quarterback that was a legit Heisman contender, like guy was putting up some nice numbers. I don't think the committee is going to value that enough when you've got teams like, Texas beating an Alabama team that, they've improved since week 2 for sure, but they're rolling. You've got Oregon, whose only loss is to Washington, and I tend to think Oregon. I'm actually hoping Oregon will lose to Oregon State and then turn around and beat Washington. I think Oregon will beat Washington when they play again.
Oh, I think so too. I don't even know that it'll be that close. And I think that if it wasn't for Dan Lanning kind of, going for it a little too much there, I understood it before the half. After the half, when you're down there, you need to get the points.
Yeah, I don't think Florida State is necessarily gonna lose to Florida because of the quarterback situation,
right?
Because all Florida State needs to do, and they've got a decent running back.
Yeah,
run the ball. Just watch the Kentucky Florida film, run the ball.
Is it at the Swamp?
This game, yes.
Swamp, that makes it a different deal, right? I mean, it kind of does. So
they still have Florida State as a 6.5-point favorite, even without Jordan Travis, and an away game. You got to imagine on a neutral field, they're making this almost a 10-point spread without the starting quarterback. I guess on both sides, to be fair. I think Florida State will pull out of this one. I could see them losing to Louisville, I guess. But Louisville's messed around. Like I said, that loss to Pitt, and I don't know. Miami, maybe they're stronger than we think. They didn't beat Miami very convincing. They didn't beat Virginia very convincing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
this is a good year for football. This is an exciting football year.
One of those toss-up years, right? I mean, I think that there's I think that Georgia has taken their place at the top. Anybody who had questions about them earlier in the season, I think that they should be quieted by now, as far as that goes. But and I think that Alabama, sure. I mean, the thing is had they not lost that game, to Texas earlier in the year, they would probably be a shoo-in as well because they look great. But I don't know that you're going to be able to beat. I don't know that you're going to be able to beat those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting in. I mean, I don't see it really happening. That being said, you never know. I mean, Kirby's 1-6 or something like that against Alabama. So,
they've never beaten Alabama in the SEC championship. So,
right.
they've been in the playoffs.
Well, and the way Jaden Milroe's playing, man, it's kind of hard to expect it any other way, right?
Yeah, he's going to be a legit quarterback next year out the gate.
Yeah, little scary, man. That's who OU draws in there. At least they get them at home, but good grief, man.
Yeah, y'all got to be pretty happy right now, knowing that as at the current moment, y'all beating Texas is the only thing keeping us out. And I'm sure as a rival, there's got to be a little bit of. I
don't really want you in the playoff. I got to tell you,
right? But I think Texas.
I'd like to be the one to keep you out, though. I'd like Oklahoma to be the team to keep you out, by getting into the conference championship. And had they not gagged away that freaking look, I'm not going to get into all this ref stuff, but we can start talking Big 12 in a second. Let's kind of run through some of these things that we probably can get through quicker. And then we'll kind of get back to some of this. But let's Iron Bowl. I mean, we were kind of finishing up talking about that when you hopped in. I don't see a way that freaking after Auburn, got beat. I know they were looking ahead, but you can't lose New Mexico State by 21 and me expect you to
25-point favorites.
Yeah, right. And pay 1.8 mil for them to come put it on you like that. That was cute. So I expect that should be wrapped up, and of course that's the rat poison that Saban always talks about is having to talk about that kind of stuff. Let's talk Ohio State, Michigan. What do you guys think about this game without Harbaugh being in the stadium?
I'll let you start this one out.
Can we go back to the rules of the 1940s where they allow ties? I just want both teams to lose. I hate the Big Ten. I hate Ohio State and Michigan. Trash conference, trash teams. Maybe the stadium will catch fire or something and they cancel the game. Who knows? But I'll be honest.
House catches fire. That'd be a hell of a story.
That we actually don't need that to happen. They'll figure out a way to put both of them in the playoffs. They'll just declare them both conference champions and just end the season. Honestly, with the way Michigan can run the ball, I don't know how much Harbaugh not being there really hurts them. I mean, they're going to line up. They're not doing anything different. They're going to line up and run it at you for 4 quarters. And can they play good enough defense? But I stayed away from it in all my pick'ems that I'm in because I refuse to let the game decide my fate. But I'm probably taking Michigan if I had to pick. I really think that what they're able to do with the run game really can change a lot of things.
Well, I think they've kind of made them. I think they've kind of little brothered them the last couple of years. Anyway, I mean, when the way they kind of uglied them up in the Big House last year, right? I mean, the question is are they able to draw that up and execute that way with Harbaugh not in the stadium? You know what I mean?
But you talk about game plan. I mean, he's still there at practice every day. I mean, the game plan's the game plan. They know what they want to do. I mean, maybe.
What about adjustments? What about adjustments? That's the thing,
Right. But I mean, you still have your offensive coordinator who's now the head guy. You would expect that your offensive coordinator was the one seeing all that. I really, in today's landscape, I really see most head coaches, and maybe Harbaugh's on a little different level. Most head coaches are just they're just that GM. They're just managing the flow of everything, keeping people in line, trying to keep kids' attitudes and stuff in line. It's not, it's really your coaches and your coordinators that are doing a lot, and the coach can make some adjustments if they see fit. But if you have good coordinators, you shouldn't have to do that.
Well, and I know that Harbaugh has definitely taken that on. I mean, he's more that kind of guy than he is the guy that steps in there and calls the plays and does all that kind of stuff, even being a former quarterback. But it still feels like when it gets down to that important time and knowing when to make a call, when to, go deep and stuff on him. Like, he hit them with those deep passes on the play action stuff that they weren't expecting last year. I think that they came out firing when they were expecting them to try to line up and run over them like they did the year before that. I don't know.
With that said, if anything, I'm interested to see what firing their linebacker coach does. I think that would have a bigger impact than Harbaugh not being there, losing your position coach and having somebody's dad fill in. I mean, I know he's around the program, but that's just That's completely different than losing your position coach heading into that game.
Here's what I'll say. I think in the last 2 games without Harbaugh, we've seen a very vanilla Michigan team. They have thrown the ball 31 times and ran the ball 91 times. I think Michigan's like, hey, we're not going to give Ohio State anything to see on film. Here's the things I just don't know. Did Michigan lose a lot of offensive linemen from last year? And did Ohio State gain some really good defensive linemen last year? Because what I remember from last year's game is that Michigan was able to run the ball. Donovan Edwards, because Blake Corum had gotten hurt, Donovan Edwards was torching them. And I think Travion Henderson.
What killed him was the deep ball.
I don't necessarily remember that play. I just remember the run was effective. Blake Corum this year has 20 total touchdowns rushing the ball, just rushing. I don't even know about receiving right now. I think Michigan's been coaching the team for this game the last 2 weeks. I mean, when you throw a pass with 7 minutes and 41 seconds in the second quarter against Penn State, and then you run the ball 30-something times without throwing another pass, either James J. McCarthy was hurt, or they were like, dude, we control it right now.
If you need him to throw, though, and he hasn't thrown a freaking ball in 2 weeks, basically, does that concern you at all if you need him to throw it? That would be my question. But I agree with you last week. Yeah.
But he went 12 of 23. That's under 50%, no touchdowns, 1 interception. So there is a question. Is McCarthy, did he take a hit and they're just like, hey, we're not going to show our hand or what? But at the same time, Ohio State is definitely by far the best team that Michigan's had to play. They haven't even almost had to line up against a receiver anywhere near as talented as Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's true.
So this is one, in my opinion.
They're not. This quarterback isn't as good as CJ was, so you tend to wonder, what they're going to be able to get done. Now, their defense is definitely one of the better defenses in the country. Now, I say that while adding that it's been going up against the Big Ten, which, as Stat said, is trash. They don't have offense in the Big Ten.
And Michigan, in a way, played Penn State better than Ohio State did.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Penn State's trash too. They just get on my damn nerves. All these games again, and they can't ever win a game against either one of those teams. It just gets on my last nerve. James Franklin.
One comment to add is, Michigan is a finalist again for that team offensive line award. Man.
I think they got most everybody back, right? I don't know that they really lost anybody that they needed.
Yeah,
other than like Andrew Anthony, but they honestly
I'll take Michigan in the 3. I'll hang it. Yeah,
especially at home. Especially at home. I can see that. Right. Look, until you see now. Okay, so off of that, you guys are both picking that. What happens to Ryan Day if they lose this game? Because as Kim's asking here, how far does either fall if they lose? I think the only one gets into the playoff either way. Only one.
They both made it last year, though.
That was because everybody it fell just certain way that where there was so many teams that had to screw it up in order for that to happen. I don't see that happening this year. I think there's enough teams that are in line that even. Yeah, I don't think.
It could fall that way.
It could.
I don't see any way that you can even see it fall that far because you look right now at one-loss teams behind them: Oregon, Texas, Alabama. All of those teams are shoe-ins to get over the loser of this game.
Well, yeah, but think about the fact that
that's where I would say Louisville comes in too. If they win the ACC, then you have to put. Dude, that's a one-loss Louisville team.
But putting a Louisville team that lost to an unranked Pitt over an Ohio State, Ohio State team that lost to number 3. That's the same with Oregon. Oregon is over Texas and Bama. I think Oregon should be behind Texas and Bama because of resume. The ranked team, they haven't played a team that is currently ranked. They haven't beat, but they have a better loss.
Now they'll take care of that this week and next if they were to win.
Right. It would be justified. But right now, I think Oregon should be behind them. So I don't think if Ohio State loses to Michigan, how do you drop the number 2 team behind a team that lost to the number 5 team when they're only lost? It's going to be recency biased if it does.
So for instance, if Ohio State loses, they're no longer playing for a conference champion. And so now for some of these other things to happen, Bama would be a one-loss conference champion. Texas would be a one-loss conference champion. Oregon would be a one-loss conference champion.
If Bama wins, I think you have to put them both in. I think you have to put them both in because there's no way, because Georgia will have won 30 freaking games in a row and then lost one to Alabama, and you're not going to leave either one of them out.
But what if Texas wins out too? How do they put Bama? I mean, I think they'll do it. I think they could do it, but I don't see how they can justify. Because in my opinion, if you do it now, here, mind you, I'll tell you this right now.
I'm with you on the head-to-head, even if I don't think that Texas would beat Alabama anymore.
I don't know as if I would pick Texas to beat Bama today. I kind of don't think I would. Yeah. But if the head-to-head has to mean something, or we should just schedule cupcakes like the SEC does every year. There's no reason to schedule any good out-of-conference game if it's not going to matter just because it was played the second weekend of September.
Right. I agree with you. That's the conundrum you run into. And here's the thing is he's got so much credit built up though. You know, Nick Saban has so much credit built up and they've been beating the crap out of everybody for weeks. You know,
we are failing.
Texas has not. And so I think that a lot of that kind of plays into each other now. Somebody said that in there that really what you really want to have is you better hope that Oklahoma gets in there because they've got a better ranking and that Texas could win that game if they played it again.
That sounds good.
That would definitely help Texas with getting in. In the end, I think it's still. I don't know that Alabama beats Georgia except for the fact that, like we said, he hasn't beaten him in the SEC championship game. He's 1-6 overall.
You can't count Nick Saban out of any major game.
But the other thing to remember too is if Alabama wins the conference championship, you're now no longer competing against Alabama. They're in. You're now trying to put yourself over a one-loss Georgia team. And I don't know. There's no other one-loss team in the country that they're taking with that. Y'all beat Bama. Georgia lost to Bama. That could be your argument point. But they will always take Georgia with one loss over Texas.
I don't think they're going to drop. There's no way the committee takes the number one team and loses to a team like Alabama and drops them to 5. It just won't happen. They'll probably drop to 4. But what do you do with that? You put Bama, you're going to put Bama at 3 just to put them one spot above. And then now Michigan, who we just had a whole conversation with.
They're probably going to be the number 1 seed because they just beat Georgia, right?
So then you have Bama at 1 and Georgia at 4, and they have to play back.
Georgia will be 3. They won't do that. Georgia, Bama will be 3. It'll be 2-4 or 1-3. Something like that.
They should have done that. Go ahead.
If Michigan wins and say Washington somehow wins out, and you have 2 undefeateds, those are going to be 1 and 2, and then you're going to have
that would screw one of them out. Hey, well then you kind of have to. Then at that point, I think then you lose an SEC school. You have to.
No,
you make them play back to back. No, 1 and 4.
Now you're telling me Washington, who they haven't respected all year long, that they wouldn't care about jumping Bama over. I think they jumped Bama over Washington.
An undefeated Washington.
Undefeated, yeah. And you got to think, for Washington to go undefeated, they're going to have. They just beat Oregon State. That's respectable. Washington State, it's a rival, cool, whatever. But they're going to have to beat Oregon again. And if they beat Oregon again, it's like
if they beat Oregon twice, with as much as everybody thinks of Oregon, I think that there's no way they keep them out. Just like I don't think they would keep Florida State out if they were to be undefeated, even without Jordan Travis. I don't see.
If they do, that's trash. If they do keep them out, if they win out, the backup came in and did his thing. Give him a chance.
If you have Florida State undefeated, Big Ten undefeated, and Washington undefeated, only one SEC school's getting in. They need other stuff to happen, kind of like how the Big Ten is right there. Over. You need an Oregon upset or Louisville upset to get both in.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what ends up happening is if you had a 1-loss conference champion and an undefeated Washington, I mean, then you're probably I could see Louisville getting cut out if Texas was to win through. Texas gets in there.
I just don't think they can.
I don't know that Louisville can either, but I
think that loss, an unranked loss, is just too. You're going to need so much help for them to make. They'll need Texas, Bama, Oregon, Florida State, probably all of those.
And the way that the ACC shaked out this year, that you just didn't have. Look, the Carolina win doesn't look great anymore. No. Because The Clemson win.
I don't know if they played
Clemson. I don't think they played Clemson, did they?
I think they did.
Louisville didn't play Clemson. They didn't play North Carolina, and they didn't play.
They did play Miami and won them. And
yeah, they played Miami, but the typical powers that you think about, they didn't play. They were able to avoid them.
Yeah, Stephen G says this is the year the 12-team playoff was needed. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that because then that would bring in, that would bring in a lot of these Oklahomas, these 2-loss teams, where you would probably end up with some. It'd be a hell of a field. But I also think that, we don't need to get into all this whole conversation, but this is where I'm kind of with Josh Pate on it. Is this is playoff time right now? Everybody's saying we need the 12-team playoff, but this is playoff. This is making the regular season matter, and we may be losing that with the 12-team playoff.
Well, you're still going to have
it may not matter so much anymore, right?
You're still going to have it's still going to matter some though for those 8 to 12 and the 13 to 16 fighting for it. I mean, but yeah, it's but the way we're talking right now, oh man, how can Alabama and Georgia both get in, or can both Big Ten schools get in?
Oh yeah,
that's out the window. They've done enough right now. They could forfeit their last.
That's the whole point. Is these you would already put in the 4 for sure. Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, and Bama are all 4 of them are in.
Mm-hmm.
Done, right? Then you probably, if Texas finishes off the Big 12, yes, they're in for sure. But that's every conference champion is going to be in. That's just going to be the way because that's the way it's supposed to be. Once it's there, the power conferences champion makes it in. So
what's kind of frustrating is that, and I'm not sure as if I think expanding the playoffs is really the right move for college football. I don't know as if I'm sold on that. And I think if every year was like this year, I don't think we would.
Not putting that genie back in the bottle, brother. The money's too much.
Well, yeah, and that's why it's going to happen. But I don't like the idea of making regular season games less important. Okay, you lost. Now, right now, you lose one game, and look, all the one-loss teams are like, man, we need a lot of help. But we're really making it to where you can lose 2, and I'm not entirely sure, but I'd be willing to bet are there 3-loss teams that are in the top 12?
No.
No. But
14.
Here's the
LSU's
thing.
at 14. They could still make it. In theory, next year, you could have.
Hold on, yeah, because if you have the Heisman winner, although their defense is so bad, and that's the reason. Look, we'll get into that in a second, but yes, I feel like this is. I'm not sure about this, Sooner Cowboys. I'm not, because I'll tell you, I could absolutely see you having. Look, this is basically going to be the Big Ten SEC tournament coming up. You could see 3 to 4 teams, depending on what happens, and it's going to be so competitive in both leagues. I think. I mean, if you look at, everybody was thinking about SC and UCLA. The better 2 teams are Washington and Oregon that are going to the Big Ten.
By far,
right? But now you just added 2 teams to the mix of Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, and then obviously with what's going on with Lincoln and them, they don't look that good, and certainly neither does UCLA. I don't know if they're going to fire Chip or not. They said they were, and then now they said they weren't. That it was weird to me that they came to him afterwards and said that we never said that. Well, why did you wait till after the game was over to say that? That it's been going on all week. That was weird, right? It's just weird to me. So, and I'm not too sure that Chippin maybe looking at that A&M job. I don't know.
That A&M job's interesting.
It is kind of interesting.
There's kind of like some pros and cons, and do you want to get into that or not really?
Nobody has so far at Suitor Cowboys, but that's the point is that we're going into an entirely new era of college football now. And if you think about the NFL, how many times have you seen the wild card team go through and win the Super Bowl? It happens.
How many times have we seen a wild card team win a World Series? My Braves did it in 21.
Absolutely, it happens. When you give somebody a shot and they're from one of these power conferences and they get hot at the right time, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I will say though, usually, and that's why this season is so much fun. Usually, when you look at college football, You look at number 1, number 2, and sometimes number 3, and then there's a pretty good drop off between the next number 4, 5, and 6. Generally, I mean, even looking at last year, TCU, which I guess they were at 3, they ended up winning. Right. I don't know how. I guess Michigan didn't scout them enough that week or the week before or whatever. But generally, it's 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 has a drop off.
When did this happen that LSU lost 2 and won the national title?
There's never been a 2-loss team make the playoff.
Not the playoff, but it must have been before that. Was that Les Miles? Was that Les's championship there they lost to? I don't remember that, but I mean I could see that. That didn't mean that they weren't the best. Yeah. Yes. Conference champs get an automatic bid. So the Big Ten and ACC and Big 12 will get in. Yeah. Well, no, that's not in the 12 team. Yes, in the 12. So yeah, they'd be in. So even if let's say Louisville was to lose this weekend or whatever, or yeah, let's say they lost this weekend and then, well, no, it would take more than that. Yeah, but you can see there's going to be certain times that you would see a conference champion. Didn't Pitt have like 3 losses as a conference champ a couple years ago? Yeah. 2 or 3 anyway. Maybe I mean they were out of they couldn't get in the playoffs.
How are they going to do it with the Pac-12? Like, what is that going to look like? Do we even know?
No, it's not going to be.
Are they still going to give them
they're going to pull that. They're going to pull that status from.
Well, doesn't the highest rated G5 school get an automatic bid too?
No,
not now. Not in the 12, right? Or is it?
I think so.
No. So it's the 4 major conference winners, and then the 8 next. They were talking about doing the 4 major, the highest G5, and then the 7 next. But I don't think that starts.
I think they should.
Well, they're going to change it all. I think that 2026 is going to get changed again. Yeah. The whole deal. So I mean, we're talking about basically 2 years of it the way it is, and they're going to adjust from there. So yeah, the pack is done and out. But I don't know. I think it would be a good time. This year would be the time that you could see a 12-team playoff just because of the fact. But again, I wonder what you are taking away from that. I definitely wonder what you are taking away from the regular season by doing this.
But yeah, because I mean, so right now you have a 12-team playoff. Lo and behold, somehow in the first round you have Texas and Alabama lining up. Then why the hell did they play the second week of the season? And that's
I agree.
That's
man.
My whole issue. That's my whole issue with it. As far as taking away they already played. I don't care that teams get better as the year goes. You can only play who's on your schedule when they're there. Texas won.
Yeah, and otherwise, just like Christian said, why the hell would you even play that game anymore? Why would you ever do anything but load up? People get pissed off about the late in the season cupcakes, quote unquote, that they're playing in the SEC, which I think they're going to end up going to the 9-game schedule.
Probably.
Well, but as far even if they go 9-game schedule, that'll never change. It's in the Alabama state legislator that they play a non-conference opponent the week before the Iron Bowl. They do it to try to protect the players from injuries. They want the Iron Bowl to be a premier matchup. So they could go to a 10-game conference schedule, and they're still going to catch a cupcake the week before the Iron Bowl, or they're going to make the SEC give them a bye week.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that now. That's right. Yeah, cupcake schedule is coming. Ball wide. Yeah, listen, if that's the whole thing, you're going to have to do it though. Look, here's the other thing that I would say about those cupcake schedules, and a lot of people that talk about playing these FCS teams and stuff like that. Those FCS teams depend on those games in order to keep their programs going.
Now, so here's something I suggested, Jason, and me and a buddy of mine were talking as far as getting rid of the FCS games in football.
Yeah,
your basketball program plays 40 games a year and plays these teams. Instead of giving them $200,000 for the basketball game, give them $2 million. It's still coming out of the athletic budget, and give them $2 million for playing you in basketball. And that way the school still gets $2 million. And then you're avoiding doing the play me game for college football. You can still help your state schools It's coming from the same athletic budget. Who cares? Give it to them to play you in basketball, and then let's load up and let's
figure it out. Yeah, I think there's better ways of figuring it out, and I think that I don't know. I think that we're seeing a big shift anyway, and there's no telling how far it goes as far as how things change over the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be crazy what we end up seeing.
Yeah, because in all reality, we don't even know conference realignment stuff with the ACC can still shake things up even more, and there's no telling what college football is going to look. And it's exciting. Anytime something changes like this, it's exciting and say, oh, cool. Well, what can these new conferences, how do they look like? What kind of new rivalries might be created or whatever? But there's also a part of it. It's like, growing up, seeing BCS, that's peak. Right. And
that was the better. It was much better than it had been. It was where they weren't even playing. The best two teams weren't playing about, every third year.
Yeah.
There was so many times that the best two teams didn't play and they had split national champions. That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jason, I want them to make me commissioner of college football. I have the greatest idea to fix all of college football problems. Here you go. So you have an A and a B. I don't know if you watch Premier League soccer, but you use relegation. So you have your top 40 teams, and the bottom 4 relegate down to B, and the top 4 promote up to A. And then you have to be in that top 40 to be able to play for that main championship. And then the lower levels can play for a little championship, a little cup or something as well.
See what happens when you're a Carolina fan. You end up watching a lot of soccer shit.
We're not in the top 40. We'd be in the lower level right now. But what do
you still play lower level teams, or do you only play people in your level?
You play. So you go to a 12 game season, and you can get one game where you can do that. Whatever. If you want to play an FCS school, for me, like Clemson is up there. We want to play Clemson. You get one game.
Yeah, I just need to know because we have to play somebody in a lower level. We'll never get to play A&M again. So, I
was waiting for that. Good stuff.
I'm in the same boat trying to play Clemson some year, but I think it would be good to kind of separate it, and that way you give your group of 5 teams a chance to actually play. Because I'm telling you right now, as a South Carolina fan, I don't want to see Liberty. Liberty would cause us real problems. But if Liberty had to line up and face Georgia next week, if they line up and play Georgia next week, Georgia's going to beat them by 50. There's levels to all this stuff.
There's definitely, and that's the whole thing. And we talked about this earlier in the season. It got a lot of people all pissy in the Big 12, but the truth of it is this: the people that think that this now helps the little guy win the national championship or have a chance to win the national championship, that's not what's going on here, folks.
Do y'all remember what Alabama did to K-State last year?
It made it harder. It made it harder. Yeah, look, it's same thing. It's the same.
That's going to be a playoff game next year.
Exact same thing that happened with TCU in the championship game.
Yeah,
they got boat raced.
TCU shouldn't have beat Michigan. It's a good Cinderella story. Cool, whatever. Yeah. But they shouldn't have done that. But
you're right.
Michigan should have done what Georgia did to it. The TCU was not good. They had some good players, but to be fair, TCU beat Texas 17-10. And y'all in Michigan, the supposed number 2 whatever team in the country, dropped.
TCU won 7 games by 1 score or some crap like that. Look at freaking off. Yeah, they did that too, but they kept winning and they kept getting by. It was definitely a Cinderella deal.
Also, losing to K-State, you're number 3 in the country, you lose your conference championship, and you didn't even drop to 4. You stayed number 3 with a loss.
That was what pissed me off, is that I would have rather seen Michigan and Ohio State go at it again to play in the championship game.
Best rivalry
to beat the shit out of them in the first round. Yeah.
But they're not. They're never.
They knew
going to do that. They're never going to make You're never going to play back-to-back weeks.
We're going back-to-back weeks.
Well, but they're never going to. First round of the playoffs isn't going to be a conference game. They're going to protect them.
Like that, do it. It's like Texas and Oklahoma. Play it again, back to back. Who cares?
Yeah, and Hank is right. It is a money move. But the people that, well, yeah, we get access to the playoff. Yeah, you get access to the playoff and a little bit of cash, but that doesn't mean you get access to the championship. Because if anything, this makes the big boys stronger. Right now, the transfer portal is kind of evening some stuff out, making people think they got even more of a chance. I honestly don't think that lasts forever either.
Even the teams that do have a little bit more of a chance, it's like TCU. They have a chance for a year, and then look at them. They're not going to make a bowl game. They're not going to beat Oklahoma. Or who do they play? Y'all or TCU? Or Oklahoma State?
It's Oklahoma.
Like, they're not going to beat Oklahoma. TCU's not going to make a bowl game.
Because they've lost them. As close as they were with Texas a couple of weeks ago, you know, it was like, but then they'll lose by 40. You know what I mean? They've had some stupid games. They've been bad. But yeah, here's the thing is I think that in the end, look, we're gonna see what happens and who gets in or whatever. But I don't know that this doesn't solve everybody's problems. If you really thought that this is, turns, and even in the NCAA tournament, is it really the same? I mean, you get some Cinderellas that get deep, but how many of them win the thing? None.
They don't. They get deep, and getting deep is the second weekend, right? They win 2 games. You got to win 4 more.
Yeah, you've had a few that have gotten to the Final Four or whatever. Davidson with Steph Curry and George Washington that year or whatever. Yeah. It's just rare. It's just a rare thing.
You might see a Liberty beat the first game, and then maybe they pull a real upset in the second game. But then in that third week, now they're lining up against somebody, and it's like at this point they're getting boat raced.
Yeah. In the end, that's the whole thing is that even it's wild, but in the end, I think that this is a money grab, just like Hank was talking about. It's a money move, and this is what happens when basically the NCAA doesn't run shit. This is all the networks, the freaking television networks run it all now, and so you might as well call it what it is, and it's pay for play and everything else. But I still think that all of that moves towards the teams that always win. The teams that have that tradition and can recruit on the level that the top 10, 12 can recruit in. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it is. All right, let's move on. We'll talk a little. What do you guys got on the Oregon State Oregon game? Do you think Oregon goes ahead and wins that thing? Do you think that Oregon State finds it? I love it that the Uyunglele brothers are playing against each other. One going to be chasing the other one down. That'll be kind of cool. But,
I think Oregon's going to win. I'm big time root. I've been a Beavs fan the last 2 weeks. They let me down last week, so rooting for them again this week.
Definitely rooting for them as well. I think DJU kind of got screwed at Clemson, and I'd like to see them win that game.
It definitely doesn't seem like it was his fault, seeing how this season's gone.
No, Cade doesn't look much better. Cade doesn't look much better.
Coming out of high school, even though Quinn Ewers was ranked higher than Cade, I actually thought Cade was more talented. I actually went to that 6A state championship game that they played against each other.
Quinn and them up, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat him good. They played. He was definitely Cade was the better quarterback on the field that day. But seeing 2 years into football, I'm happy with the one we got.
What happened though with this whole thing with JMU? Tell me about that stat. What happened there?
So the rule is when you apply to the FBS, you are not allowed to play in a conference championship game or a bowl game, any postseason play, your first 2 years. That's kind of like your entrance fee for them letting you up into the big leagues. So this year, they start off, they're 10-0, they're hosting game day. They appealed it like 3 times. The last time they appealed it with all the other teams that are bowl eligible that are within that 2-year window. NCAA still said no, and then turned around, hosted college game day, and they played the team you do not want to play at home if you're a ranked team, App State. And App State went there and gave it to them. So App State ends up beating them late. And
I'll forever be an App State fan.
Like I'm totally an App State fan myself, man. Those guys go in there and screw somebody's year up every year, man. I love it.
If you're ever looking for like a really cool college atmosphere to go check out, go to Boone in October and November. Late October, the leaves are changing up there in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's beautiful. It sits down in a hole, and when that sun sets, the temperature drops about 40 degrees. But it is an amazing environment for a football game. I love it up there. I'm probably about 2 hours away from Boone, but I normally get up there every couple of years to check them out.
Yeah, that is a stupid rule, though. Stupid rule.
I mean,
and again, how do you help? How does that help college football?
Because
how does that rule help?
But I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's stupid. If you know about it when you apply, you can't then be like, "Oh, I'm so mad about this rule."
I'll give you that. That I'll give you, but that's stupid. It still doesn't mean that it's not stupid.
Now, to be fair, the NCAA, they're not known for making great decisions. I will say, though, they did do, is it Tez Walker for North Carolina?
Finally.
They finally did the right thing with them.
It took the whole freaking country raking them over the coals before they did.
But that's exactly the problem is unless it's like a moral issue, they're not going to do it. And they're not going to. If they came to JMU, now they have to came to all the other ones.
Useless, bro. Useless. That the whole organization. I just used a country ass saying. I can't believe I just said that on there.
I think I was going to say though. I think the big thing with it is because I mean obviously there's money tied into bowl games and all of this. Sure. They want to make sure you're not just trying to do this because you got a good football team coming.
To make some cash, and
you're gonna go to 2 quick bowl games. You're gonna make cash, and then be like, "Oh, held up, this wasn't for us," and then run back down to the FCS with a wad of cash in your back pocket. I think they kind of hold your feet to the fire to say, "Hey, if this is what you're doing, it's a long-term move. You're not just coming for the quick buck. You have to be prepared to spend money to get money."
I don't know. I don't know, man. I think that like how. Well, I guess in the case of JMU, I could see what you're saying. I could see what you're saying on that. That makes sense, I guess. But I still don't like it.
Let's hop in the Big 12 talk. I've got about 15 minutes.
All right, real quick, bro. Give me your Heisman winner then. Give me your Heisman winner, and then we'll go Big 12.
I don't want to say it because it means Chase definitely ain't making the playoffs. I think Bo Nix. I think he's been playing super well. I'm going Bo Nix.
Bro, come on, man.
Yeah. They're gonna beat Oregon State. Let's be real. They're gonna turn around and beat Washington. They're gonna be 12-1, making the playoffs or whatever. 11-1.
This is not a team win. This is not a team thing. It's the Heisman is for the best player in the country. Jaden Daniels is playing better than everybody. Period.
They're both there. He would be my number 2 for sure.
So me, if I had a vote, I'm voting for Bo Nix, but Bo Nix is not winning the Heisman. Jaden Daniels is going to win.
He probably won't.
What I think it comes down to, the race that it's so similar with is Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. Very, very similar. Lamar had 3 losses. Deshaun went to the playoffs that year with Clemson. Lamar took home the hardware, and Deshaun beat him head-to-head that year too, which was kind of crazy. But I think that Jaden Daniels and what he's done down the stretch.
Robert Griffin III won it, and he had 3 losses too. And then, look, guys, you are going to tell me that you're supposed to freaking say that Jaden doesn't get the Heisman because their defense is shitty? Because that's it.
No.
Their 3 losses are to teams with a combined 3 losses total.
Right, but Bo Nix's 1 loss is to Washington. Listen, stats are nice.
Wait a minute. Okay, so hold on. You just got done telling me a little while ago how Oregon hasn't beat anybody that's ranked.
I agree. Listen, you're not wrong, but also
they've played the toughest schedule in the country, and they have 3 losses. They have 3 losses. Their losses are to Alabama, Ole Miss, and FSU in the first game of the year, and the dude had 600 total yards 2 weeks ago against Florida. They played the toughest schedule in the country. It's out there. The toughest schedule in the country LSU has played. And he's got both of those guys in total yards by 900 plus yards. He's got 13 more touchdowns than Penix. He's got 6 more touchdowns than your boy Bo Picks. And look, and he's got 1,000 freaking rushing yards.
He'll probably win it because of the rushing yards. But look, LSU's only beaten one ranked team.
4,000 yards and 1,500 or over 1,000 freaking rushing yards. That's insanity. One of the guys ever done it.
LSU's only beaten one ranked team. It's Mizzou. Now I'll tell you, obviously, I think
they've had the hardest.
I'm not going to disagree with you that the SEC is a tougher conference than the Pac-12. I'm never going to disagree with that. So even like you're beating a bad Florida team is more impressive than beating a middle of the road Pac-12. Absolutely not going to argue with that. I think I don't know. Watching them play, they're both electric. You got to imagine you want to see, and this is where it's going to come down to it. Bo Nix can only win it if they win out. So if Oregon had 3 losses, then Bo Nix has no chance. But if Oregon wins out, then you've got a quarterback with crazy stats. He's got 36 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions.
Yeah,
and he could turn around and beat Oregon State this week, and then a playoff team right now.
36-3. Jaden has 36-3.
I'm not saying it's bad, but LSU's best win right now is Mizzou. If Oregon wins out, that means they're gonna beat the number 4 team in the country that had beat them. They're gonna revenge their loss. To me, it seems like that'd be my vote. I'm not mad at Jalen Daniels if he wins it. I think he's an electric player, and
that's still a top 10 win on the road. I mean, that's a top 10 win. I mean, that's huge.
I mean, okay, here's the other thing. Yeah, he got to play against USC.
Yeah. And Jaden Daniels got to play against Grambling State. I mean,
they hung 81 on Portland State week 1, though. I mean, it's just because you play them. They played Florida State week 1. So just because they played them different times.
It's an individual award. That's my problem, is that we're talking about the teams that they're playing, and Jaden's gonna end up getting punished for the defense at LSU being shitty.
Look, here's the thing. For me, I was hoping Penix would keep the way he was playing to start the season. I was rooting for Penix to win it, but he's
the best player in. Okay, I've seen halfbacks and defensive players at their time were the best in college and not even get mentioned. You're not wrong, and I think for that matter, then that brings in guys like Marvin Harrison. It's definitely a quarterback award. We've seen that.
But no, Marvin Harrison's going to be in New York, and it's a shame because he's like 12th in yardage, like 7th in touchdown.
He's hurt.
But I mean, but how are you taking a guy like that doesn't have the stats and putting him over somebody else again because their team's undefeated? Like, I don't think he's the best receiver in college football.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll be the best pro.
I think Malik Neighbors might be better. I don't know if I'd say he is better, but Malik Neighbors is nice. I mean, he's right. It has traditionally been a quarterback award, but in years like this, like who else other than Marvin Harrison, Malik? I mean, everybody was saying Brock Bowers. He dealt with some injuries. I don't know if he was really putting up enough stats to be Travis Hunter. If he had actually been better on the defensive side of the ball, If Travis Hunter was better as a defensive player, I think he could have won it
because of the fact he was on both sides of the ball. Had he stayed, Ollie Gordon is not a New York guy either.
He is playing like
he's
mad.
Been really good though. He has been really
good. And I've even seen a top 10 Heisman list right now that has Tavondre Sweat on it at 9th, which I'm good with.
Hey, look, and I think Brock Bowers,
he's the best tight end, but I don't know about
dude. He's a stud, bro. Straight up. But that being said, him getting hurt for those few games or whatever, it is what it is. I just think it's a shame that's what's going to happen with Jaden Daniels. And somebody said something about that he'd be holding a clipboard at Oregon or Washington. I don't buy that for a second. He would start in front of Bo Nix. He would probably start in front of Penix too. And
the only reason I would say,
Bo Nix went from the SEC to the Pac, and he went from the Pac to the SEC, and he's balling out. I mean, bro, come on. It's not a team award. That's the problem.
What I'll say,
I want the
best.
If
I was building a program and I got to pick between them, I would pick Daniels. In college football, the mobility is too important.
Very.
I'm good with it. Hey, if he wins it,
if they had a damn defense, man.
Bo Nix will probably be a better NFL quarterback, though.
I don't know. I don't know.
The mobility in the NFL just
I don't
doesn't
think
work the same.
I don't think that Bo throws it that good. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he'll play in the NFL. I don't think he'll play much.
Spencer Ratt was the best NFL quarterback in this class.
I think Spencer's got the best arm in the class.
Didn't he get benched 2 years in a row against Texas?
Yeah, he did. He's been better since he got to South Carolina. It's the people around him.
He was the best quarterback in the SEC for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
Listen, man, if it wasn't for, him on the road isn't great, but I need to
figure out where do I put my.
I'll tell you, they had nothing around him. Where
do I put my Can I find some 30-1 odds for Jalen Milroe Heisman next year? Can I go ahead and start finding those?
Jalen Milroe?
Yeah,
I think you probably could. Once the season's over, they'll have futures right away.
The problem is you're not gonna get 30-1 when they release the odds. He's gonna be top 5. So
for sure. All right. Let's get to this
Big 12.
Big 12 stuff. All right. So for the second week in a row, they have clarified the rules about clarified the rules concerning the tiebreakers. Now, there's I'll read it to you. In fact, I can share this real quick so everybody can see it. All right. Scenarios involving matchups from Friday, which be Oklahoma remains in contention with either a win or a loss against TCU, which is weird. I don't even know what the hell that means. Texas will clinch the championship game and the number 1 seed with the win.
We're going to get it done. I truly believe we're taking care of business.
Where it gets a little kooky is here. If Okie Light beats BYU, the Cowboys are in. If Oklahoma has beaten TCU on Friday and Okie Light loses to BYU, Oklahoma clinches a championship game berth. I think that's what we've been expecting. Here's where it gets a little saucy. K-State's going to have a lot of stuff happen. But if Tech were to win, no team can clinch a bid to the championship until Saturday. Texas can still clinch the berth if 2 of the 3 6-2 teams lose. In that scenario, Texas and the lone winning team would go. If Texas and the 6-2 teams, hold on. Let me take off this stupid thing here.
Texas loses, we're not getting in.
Yeah, if Texas loses and 2 or 3 of the 6-2 teams, K-State, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State win, there will be 3 or 4 teams tied for both championship game berths. And per the Big 12, multiple scenarios exist in this circumstance. They don't even know what the hell is going to happen. They don't even know.
We've got to beat Tech. We can't lose to Tech. We have to. I mean, just handle business. Don't worry about it.
Hold on, though. This is not like it's that damn hard to figure this out. You go into and they keep saying that this is not changing their rules. What their rules were before was that it would. Let me find that. This is so stupid, dude.
If it you're looking for, I'm telling you right now, if it ends up with a 4-way tie, it's magically going to be Kansas State, Oklahoma State.
Somehow they're going to figure it.
Will. You can bet
you're going to see these refs are going to be blind on Friday in that Texas Tech game.
Kansas State has lost to Oklahoma State and Texas, and Oklahoma has beaten Texas and lost to Oklahoma State. But somehow that is what they'll come up with. It's the silliest shit ever. But they don't have a rule. They don't. Let me find the damn Big 12 rules that from before. I had it somewhere on here, I thought, but I don't see it. Wait. Here they are. Okay. As of, let me pull this up now. Get rid of this one. All right. Do this. Is that a little too big? It is. All right. So it was so screwy from before, but this is what was written originally. All right. So you had so dumb. If 2 teams are tied for first place, it goes down to multiple team ties. Let's do this. head-to-head best cumulative win percentage in games among the tied teams. If not, every tied team has played each other. Go to step 2. That should have said if every tied team has not played each other, go to step 2. And that's when it starts saying record against the next highest placed common opponent in the standings based on the record in all games. So the next highest ranked team in the Big 12 that they all played, what's your record against them? That was supposed to be the second one. But apparently, according to them, that's not the case. Now, that's why Kansas State's all pissed off, because if you went to the next ones, it was going to be between UCF, Kansas, and Iowa State, I guess. Yeah.
Which would work good for us because we beat Kansas and Iowa State.
Well, but that was assuming. Yeah, okay. Well, that was assuming you guys were still in the lead and had lost anything. But I really was talking about between K-State, OU, and Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah.
So the record between all of them, Kansas State had beaten all of them, but they lost to Oklahoma State. So they'd beaten all of them, but they lost to OSU. And then Oklahoma had lost to OSU, right? But beaten the other two teams in that scenario. So it would have been K-State. Well, then they're like, well, yeah, but you have a head-to-head there, and that both of them have Oklahoma State has beaten both. And as much as I hate Okie Light, you got to say that's fair because they beat both of those teams they're tied with. That being said, that's not what the rule says. And they're saying that they just clarified it. You can't change the fucking rules 2 weeks from conference championships.
Jason, how far down do you have to go to get to coin toss? Do y'all have coin toss on there?
7.
Yeah, it's not far. It's a ways, yeah.
I love chaos. Bring on the coin toss. Put it live.
That's what they're gonna do. I think that's what they're gonna probably end up doing.
Live
Don't
on
bring
TV.
on the coin toss.
Well, look at all the rest of it. I mean, look, then you go to win percentage against all common conference opponents. Win percentage in the conference games of conference opponents, i.e. strength of schedule, total number of wins in the 12-game season. That's freaking stupid. Only one win against a team from the, I guess, FCS will be counted. Any games that are exempted from counting against the annual maximum number of football contests. I don't even know what that is. Highest ranking by Sports Source Analytics. Who the hell is Sports Source? Team rating score metric following the last weekend of the regular seasons. So they're going to go to.
I don't know, man.
It's. So this is essentially because they don't even. Okay, so if you know all these things, if you're saying multiple things can happen, well, tell us what multiple things can happen, or are you just going to make it up as you go along? Because these rules are no longer what you're going by.
I wonder, can Oklahoma State sue?
Yeah,
I think Kansas State, because Kansas State would have gotten in.
Yeah,
they could probably be like, "Hey, y'all just changed the rule. Like, how much money did y'all make us lose by not making this game? We would have made it to because you got to think if they go and win the Big 12, say they beat Texas in the Big 12, now they're in a New Year's Six bowl. That's more money. I mean,
yeah.
So Jason, here you go. Here's the Sports Source analytic, and this is how they do their rankings. It weighs everything as an equal metric: winning percentage, strength of schedule, scoring offense, scoring defense, rushing offense, rushing defense, passing offense, passing defense, total offense, total defense, turnover margin, third down. Who would
get in?
Third down efficiency.
Oklahoma would probably get in there because they've got the best turnover
So Oklahoma comes in 8th, and Oklahoma comes in 6th, and Kansas State comes in 9th. Texas would be 13th, and Oklahoma State is not in the top 25.
Yeah,
so it'd be Oklahoma and Kansas State.
In which you have a Kansas State team getting in over.
Well, they're not going to go by that. So I bet you that won't be on the rules if this all happens. If Texas loses this weekend, and the other 3 win,
it's going to be
It's going to be
Texas-
Okie Light in
Coin toss.
K-State.
Coin
It's gonna
toss.
be Okie Light in K-State. They're going to the
Texas
coin.
has to win, and then we need to
They're going
hope
to a
something
blind
can
coin toss
happen.
that nobody else gets to see except for
Yeah.
Mark and Kansas State, Oklahoma State win it.
And
No,
somehow
we
magically
flipped the
y'all pick
coin.
the
You just
same.
have to believe us that we flipped the coin.
Yeah, we flipped it. Come on.
It was heads I win, tails you lose. I mean, come on.
I used a quarter my grandpa gave me.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Texas needs to handle business. What has to happen? We need Oklahoma State to lose, and then Oklahoma gets in. That's all we need.
If you guys win, Oklahoma State loses, then OU's in, no matter what.
Going based off like who I would rather play. Obviously, Oklahoma is the team that we want to play. It's Oklahoma. They beat us. We want the chance to get back for that loss. However, for our odds of winning the game, because Red River, a rematch, it's a toss-up. Like, you're not going to be able to accurately predict it.
Sure.
I think I'd rather play Oklahoma State because I think we're going to shut down their run game. We held Iowa State to nine total rushing yards last week.
Yeah, I mean,
our run defense is number 5 in the country.
We saw what Oklahoma State can do, and never underestimate the gag reflex of Mike Gundy and his football teams. Never. This is just how it is. UCF 48-0, 48-3.
They scored. I was going to say, give them their 3 points. They worked hard for that field goal.
Yeah. Didn't have their rain gear there.
Hey, 48-3 is not quite as bad as 49-0, but it's still pretty.
Hurricane season you don't get to use that this year. You already got beat by us.
I get to use that, dude.
Shit. No, you don't.
I get to use that. Absolutely.
We can just say right there, just shut up.
In the words of Tennessee fans, the grass was too long.
Yeah. It is what it is. Listen, I mean, I get it. It is what it is. I think that in the end, you got to go win the game and see what happens. But if Texas does a Texas thing and gags a little bit here,
Coach Sark said it.
Hell breaks loose.
He said what he's been telling the guys all week is last year we went out the day after Thanksgiving. I think it was actually on Thanksgiving. It might have been the day after. And beat Baylor. We beat Baylor, and then we needed help. We had to watch football on Saturday looking for Kansas to go beat Kansas State, and it didn't happen. No. This year, if you just go take care of business, you can watch football on Saturday if you want to, but you don't have to. Last year, you had to because you were just like, are we going to get in? What are we going to do? So the goal is go take care of business, and then Saturday, just enjoy your day if you want to. Watch football, don't watch football, go do whatever. But
fair enough.
I got to hop off here. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Tell everybody how to get a hold of you, brother, and how to watch the show.
Yeah. Check us out. We're on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. We're really doing a lot on TikTok. I've been going live a couple times a week, and it's taken off pretty good. We just do top 10 Heisman candidate, big game breakdown. So check us out, LoneStar_CFB on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, just all the major platforms. And appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you coming in, brother.
Yes, sir. I don't have to put up with this.
Had to do it.
Jason, I will tell you this. The Big 12 Netflix documentary that will come of this season in about 2 or 3 years is going to be priceless.
Should be good. Yeah, it should be a good one. Yeah. Except, you're going to have a lot of pissed off Okies for sure. Because it's been bad. And I mean, we're not even going to get into all that. We've talked about the refereeing and all that other shit. We saw more of it this past weekend, but it is what it is. And they still won the game. So thankfully they handled it. But, the next thing we would be talking about is, look, Dylan Gabriel went down in that game, and why is it that you guys, I don't understand what's going on with why is Coach V is saying it's an upper body injury. We saw him hit his head. I mean, and he hasn't practiced this week. I've seen that in there. Had to do it, man. Had to do it. Had to throw that up there, Kim. Look, we saw him bang his head. That's a concussion thing. I think you had to have been cleared from concussion protocol by today if that was the case. So would that be why?
No, he can be I'm pretty sure he can still get cleared by sometime Friday. I mean, there's been people that stay in it. Yeah, I mean,
they're playing Friday. They're playing Friday.
They're playing Friday. Then he needs to be cleared tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be cleared by whatever time. Whatever time the press conference is. Yeah. He's got to be cleared by the day before. So, and I doubt they're going to do it on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, maybe to try to push it through, but
according to Coach according to Venables, they think he's going to play. He hasn't practiced this week. That could just be coach speaking and wanting you to have to prepare for both of them. We're seeing Jackson Arnold take all the snaps in practice, apparently, which you would have to do that anyway. I think that no matter what you needed to prep him, he should be taking all the snaps. DG's took it enough throughout the season that you could still play him on Friday, whether he takes a snap all week in practice. Doesn't matter. I think even if he cleared concussion protocol by Thursday or whatever it is, he would be. I think you still, just in case, make sure that you give Jackson all the reps because he needs them. I think that's the thing. If it's a concussion, I don't think he does play Friday either. I don't. He hasn't suited up. He'll be magically cleared. Well, I mean here's the thing, and here's the question I would have for you OU fans. Do you want the freshman playing in the game that when you're still trying to get into the conference championship, or do you want, and I know I'm asking for it, begging for it to even ask this damn question, or do you want the guy that's been leading the way all year?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say the real issue is, do you want the freshman this week with a chance to get in, or guaranteed that he's starting the conference championship? Because if Dylan Gabriel plays and he's not 100%, that's how you then get a severe concussion, and now you're out weak.
Well, and I don't think it's ethical to put him in if he's not, if he's not really okay. I mean, look at what happened in Miami with Tua. I don't want to see that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's right to do that. Now, who would I rather have in the game with the game on the line? Not a freshman. And as much as I like Jackson and think that he's got the skills to be the guy, if we're trying to get into the conference championship game, we need a win. Do I think that Jackson can beat TCU? Yes. Do I know that Dylan can? Yeah. You know what I mean? But in the end, yeah. Open that can of worms. Yeah, I already know. I was right. I already knew where it was coming. Yeah, and Lori's in here, so I assume that we'll hear something about it. Senior day, I think DG will start and then hand it over to Jackson. Not if he's not cleared, though, man. There's no way he could do it. I mean, what are you going to take a knee or whatever? I don't see it happening.
But even
saved him from a bad concussion because it was thicker. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I would take veterans. Yeah, take the veteran. I get it, man. Where the hell is Sipping Sooner? Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't talked to him, but I would imagine that I think he's ready to go ahead and see. Obviously, we talked about it last week. Be careful with what? Be careful with what? You know where I am. It's not his time yet. It's not Jackson's time yet. Period. So, yeah, they do. I don't think that there's never been a guy that got a concussion and played the next week, right? And this is in less time. So that may be why they are not calling it a concussion, right? Which that's flirting with, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, you do that, and then it wasn't a concussion. It was just the bear cage was rattled a little bit. Then he gets popped and takes a concussion against TCU. If I'm his parents, man, we're suing the university. Like, I don't think
it's not even the right, and he should sue the university in that case. Yeah. You don't do that. The other thing is I don't know that he would even try to go out there. And here's the deal. I don't think that, first off, these guys root for each other. I mean, Dylan likes Jackson, and Jackson loves Dylan. I mean, that's the fact. They're always the first one. they're always the first ones that are gonna be congratulating each other. You know, he was congratulating him in the locker room after the game. Jackson was talking about. I mean, look, he's taken Jackson under his wing this year to try to help him be ready. I think that in all, he more or less expects, I believe, for this to be his last year. Now, I think, could he be talked back into another year? Possibly. Will he be? I don't know. We're going to find out. Just got his bell rung. Yeah, that doesn't work that good anymore, bro. That just got his bell rung stuff is like, those are days past. That was when we were playing football. You know? Yeah, I got my bell rung a few times. I played one game. I don't remember the whole second half. Caught 3 more footballs. Shit. Got lit up. It happens, man. It happens. TCU plays dirty if DG is not full clear. Do not allow him in. Yeah. They listen. They hurt what 5-6 quarterbacks last year, something like that. Everybody, pretty much. Jackson needs to see where he stacks up in order to improve next spring. Yeah, it has to happen now. I mean, I don't know, Kim. I'm again. I don't want Dylan to play if he's hurt. I do not. But if he's ready and he's able to go, then he needs to be in. That's it. But if it's a concussion and he's not good to go, then no. Yeah, they hurt DG. Yeah, they do. You'd almost like to see DG get to come in and get a little get back on him for that dirty ass hit they put on him last year that kept him out of the freaking Red River game and caused that debacle.
Is he coming back next year? Has he confirmed or not yet?
Mm-mm. No, but and they were up until he got hurt, they were talking about Jackson was going to get a red shirt. Now that was him coming in the game, was his 5th game to be in. So he's not going to get the red shirt. Now I don't know what's going to happen. I think if he does the senior day thing, that could signal that he's going to go ahead and move on because he's got another year for sure. If he does the senior day festivities, then that's probably a signal that he's out of here. So we'll see. That's not necessarily the case, Jay Morris, but I mean, do I agree that they're doing their best to keep Oklahoma out? Yes, they are. And here's the thing. I think if Texas wins, I mean, I trust more in Okie Light losing this game, even though it's BYU and they're at home, than I do in anything. I mean, than like, you losing or whatever. I just, again, gag reflex, Gundy, done. We can say that all. I mean, that's all I really need to say. The Mississippi State job? Who said that? Who said that, though? I mean, someone said in another chat. Who, though? Because, yeah, I don't know. Thank you, C-Walt. Appreciate you, bud. Yeah, going to bed. Stat, go Tigers, he says. All right, man. Who does OU bring back? No, Matt, he has no eligibility. Who has no eligibility? Who does OU bring back? As far as who? I don't know what you're saying, Matt. Woody Washington had a COVID year. Yeah, I think he might be back. A lady by the name of Mary. Okay, well, yeah.
She knows. Mary knows.
She said she had sources. Okay, good. Well, so do you. Your sources say no. That's not the case. I don't think he takes that job. Maybe he does. I guess he could. Mississippi State. You see Jeff Lebby taking Mississippi State?
No.
Tend to doubt it. Beamer's not taking Mississippi State, right?
he's not leaving South Carolina, but that does scare me. He met that was his first coaching job. He met his wife there while she was in school there. But I think he loves that. He was born in Charleston. He's a South Carolina guy.
Did you and Seawalk go at it on Fanatic? I gotta watch this then. Did y'all go at it?
Yeah. He moved it to the intro, left it there at the end too. We had a nice little time.
Nice. Okay, I'll be watching that I hadn't got to see it yet. So
yeah.
I had changed the brakes on my car today. I had all kinds of stuff going on, so I hadn't seen it yet.
We luckily Seawalt's I don't know him personally, so I kept it above the belt, man. You walk around South Carolina this week, it gets ugly.
I'm sure it does. Why do y'all call them the Taters?
Taters. So it's an agricultural school. So that was their old thing, was farmland, and they were a farming school, and so the Taters.
Okay.
Instead of not giving the true props of who they are. And to my argument, they do own us in the football series if you're just looking at football wins. But you know what? Just like you can say 1-0 this year, they haven't beat us since 2021. So until they beat us again, we own them in football. And then I don't know. We have something really cool here. We have the Palmetto Series rivalry, and so it counts every head-to-head sporting event. So hockey, volleyball, the soccers, the tennises, track, all that stuff that we play them in head-to-head, and you get a point, as well as fan stuff. So we do a blood drive every year, the week of the South Carolina Clemson game. Whichever fan base gives more blood gets a point, and so the winner of that is the Palmetto Series champion. They've been doing it for the last 5 years, and we are 5-0 in that. They cannot touch us. So we do run the state. You will hear different from the Tater fans, but South Carolina is the premier university in this great state.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, Matt, you saying, okay, so who's going to come back that could go to the draft? I think that the guys that have gotten draft grades haven't been great ones, except for Guyton. If Guyton is trying to leave, and I don't know what all that was about, y'all were talking about earlier about somebody getting kicked or whatever for. Ooh. Never mind, that was something else. I got some information about that. We'll find out what that is, and I'll see about getting that out tomorrow. There's some stuff going on within the team. I'm not too sure. Yeah, but there's some guys that are going to probably be leaving. I think everybody knows Tyler Guyton's going to be a first rounder. I think you got to go. When you get a first round grade, you got to go. Yeah, you got to. But I think, like K. Chris will tell you, he really hopes that what's his name is gone. Let me see.
What kind of grade are they talking about for Dylan Gabriel? 5th round, 6th round?
I think so, man. I think Dylan would help himself by staying another year too. You know what I mean? Because this is such a deep draft class for quarterbacks, right?
The quarterback class will definitely be lighter next year.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Stephen G's busting your chops a little bit here. He happy Venables left Clemson. Ever since he came to OU, Clemson's been different.
I am very happy that Venables left Clemson. But we'll find out if he can actually coach a football team or just the defense when we come out there to Oklahoma next year.
Oh yeah, are you coming for this game, Stat?
No, I will tell you, I'm going to do everything in my power to get a ticket to the game. I'm going to catch
you guys got to make. Oh, we'll make sure you have a ticket, bro. If you and Coach I show up, we'll make sure you have a ticket.
Oh well, that's done. Flights booked. We're there. Coach, I'll book it for you. We're going to Oklahoma next year. Fun time.
All right, good stuff. All right, yep.
I'll be looking for a new ex-wife. If you want to point me in the right direction of where if I can find a new ex-wife.
I'm still looking for one of them too. All right, yeah. If DG stays another year, he will hold the clipboard. Oh yeah, I knew that was coming from old Lori. I don't think that that's the case either, but I want DG to play. We'll see what happens. If DG's not hurt, then he should play this week. If he is hurt, he shouldn't. And then we're going to find out how good Jackson is right now as far as for today. It could be a good deal. Saddle up, as he says. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey,
so I do have a question for you, Jason. Do you think the chance to play at Oklahoma is weighted on Spencer's decision making this offseason?
No, I think he knows he gets his ass kicked. I think he knows I think if it does, I'm getting the hell out.
I'm money and run.
I'm gone. Oh, look, man. That's the thing, and you've seen it. You know, when Spencer gets into a situation where he gets a little flustered, it goes downhill real fast. You know, he's been good at times this year, though. I mean, he better than I thought. I thought he handled. I told you that earlier this year. I thought he handled things this year a lot better than I expected him to when I knew how bad that team looked, as far as not having weapons for him. And you haven't seen him lose his shit or freak out on anybody or leave the team. You would have saw that before. When Caleb replaced him, he whined and pouted like a child after that. I mean, they thought he was going to leave school Monday after the Red River game. They were down 28-7. I mean, what do you want? And he was turning the freaking ball over. But DG stays, Arnold leaves with Lebby. Hey, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk. And I'm not buying into Lori's source here yet. I got to tell you, Lori, I'm not buying into some lady named Mary. I haven't heard that from the folks that I'm going to need to hear that from. Said he was invested in OU to leave. Yeah, too invested in OU to leave. Yeah, look, here's the thing. I am less worried about Jackson leaving with Jeff Lebby if he were to leave now. If you're in line to freaking start at Oklahoma, what better opportunities do you got? You're the starter at OU, because if Lebby leaves, I think that DG certainly is gone, right? Whether he was to go with him or not. But yeah, I'm not going to say that that's going to happen. Oof. But I'll tell you this. Michael Hawkins is a bad dude. The dude, fast, and he's got a freaking cannon. A cannon. There has not been. I don't think there's any serious interest in him either. I think that, although I could see certain teams coming after him, I could, and particularly G5 schools. I mean, look, Boise State, could see that happening. And that's a good job, by the way. I would probably take that if I'm Jeff Lebby.
I think they're going to go get Kellen Moore from the NFL. Moore. Bring him home.
I could see that. Yeah. He's look. I say the same thing about Hawkins. I think he's vastly underrated, and that's the reason that tight end is coming next year, is because of Mike. So is Michael Hawkins. I don't think that anybody's just going to come in here and unseat a bunch of guys. Look, if Sperry is that guy, we'll know. Just like if hey, look, if DG was to come back next year and they have a competition, that's the best way to solve the whole thing. Have a competition. Look, if Jackson wins it, give him the ball.
No way DG's coming back for a competition, though.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. He might, if he thought that he could win, if he thought he's going to win the thing and freaking get a chance to up his draft stock in the SEC. Why wouldn't you? Now, if you lose it, then it doesn't help.
Your draft stock's gone.
Yeah, but I don't know that he cares about the NFL that much. That's not really what he talks about. He talks about coaching and giving back to Hawaiians. That's what he talks about. So I don't know, man. And I think that Hawkins is the real deal, but I don't want necessarily another true freshman being your backup either. So that's where my whole thing is I'd love to see, them keep him around. But that being said, I mean, I guess you could hit the portal for a backup if you had to. You're not huge on Hawkins? You might have to eat crow on him, bro. He's a baller. He's real good. He's real good. You got to go watch some of their games, man. He's looked really good. Levy has already said if DG comes back, there will be a competition. Yeah, we get it. I don't think Levy leaves yet. I don't think he does either. Look, though, here's the thing. Okay, here's where he would leave to. Maybe Mississippi or Mississippi State. It's an SEC school. Not a great one, but it's an SEC school. But that Boise State job, that's not a bad one. San Diego State, that's not a bad one. They're G5 schools that are pretty good.
And fixing to be Power 5 because they're going to get the bump to Pac-12.
And they're not going to be Power 5. They're not going to. The Pac-12 is not going to be a P5 school anymore, a P5 conference anymore. It's not. That needs to happen. Oregon State and Washington State should be in the Big 12. That's the dumbest thing about the whole deal. I cannot believe they haven't done that already.
Well, the great thing is they now control everybody's money. And so teams like Arizona that are $121 million in debt with their athletic department need that money. And so I think they're going to try to use that to leverage them to be like, hey, we need you to bring these two schools. Plus, if they're getting this incredible payday this year, because they're the only two splitting all the money.
I think that's going to be in court for a while, bro. I don't know how much payday they're getting.
But I'm saying if they were to get this incredible payday because they're the only two splitting this year's money, they could do an SMU and go to the Big 12 and not take money for 2 years.
Yeah.
And that could be their way into the Big 12.
I think so. What's up, Professor? My dude. How's everybody? Yeah. Look, man, we'll see what happens. I think that in the end, this is all speculation at this point. It's all speculation. I'm not worried too much about it. I'm worried about this week. I want to see Oklahoma win this week and see if they get an opportunity to play for the conference championship so they can – I'd love to see Texas and OU in Arlington chanting SEC. That's the only time I would ever say that that's okay to do. But I think that they should, on the way out, if they were playing in that game, which is why they don't want them there, chanting SEC.
Would you go?
The whole game.
Would you go?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll be there if they go. Yeah. It's not that far, man. We'll be there. Grinding all the way. Grinding away with the new. Hey, your channel's doing good, too, by the way. If you guys haven't checked out you recruiting lovers, get on there on High Tops Recruiting. It's the professor's the guy on High Top Recruiting. Hey, actually text me that or I'll just go find it, bro. I'll go find it because I can put it in here. It'll probably kick it if you put it in here. I'll find it. Yeah, High Top Recruiting, man. He needs subscribers, but he's getting a lot of views. So guys, go and check all that out. The professor's doing a great job. A great job. Oh, there it is.
While you're pulling that up, give me a score prediction for Carolina Clemson.
Carolina Clemson. Ooh, where's it at? Is it in Columbia?
It is in Columbia.
Okay.
Clemson, the only road win that Clemson has this year was at Syracuse. There are other road games.
Y'all busted them up last year. Huh. All right. I'm gonna say 30-28 Taters. 30-28 Taters. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're playing better right now than they have been, right?
You're dead to me, Jason. You're gonna make me put my horn frogs up, man.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't be that surprised if they busted them up last year. But they're not the same football team as they were last year. They got the same quarterback, but that's it, right?
No, I mean, DJ started against us last year. Cade, I'll be honest, they were a better football team last year. Will Shipley was better last year. Mafia was better last year. They had better weapons. I mean, their wide receiver core is beat to hell. They haven't done a great job stopping the run. It is going to be
everybody's gone. Even Shoddy over here throwing them at you. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
it's Thank
30.
you guys. Get in there and jump in there and sub for to the high top recruiting. He's putting out videos every day, man. He's throwing them out there. If you want recruiting info, he's got it. Check it out.
38-10, South Carolina.
38-10. So okay, bookmark that right there. I'm gonna put it right there. 38-10, South Carolina. All right. Give me your scores for the Iron Bowl, the game, and Florida State. Well, just give me your Iron Bowl scores first in the Ohio State stuff.
Iron Bowl 45-10 Bama. I think they roll
45-10 Bama. Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Throw
your Iron Bowl scores in there, folks. Okay. Game.
The game. What a pissing contest. Give me Michigan 20-17.
Michigan 20-17. Okay. At the big house, they're going to win by 3. All right. Yeah, and make sure you get over to Fanatic Sports Network and check out the Stat Guy versus Seawalt Must See TV. I got to check that out too. I'm going to be on there right after this is over with. Okay. Then let's go to Civil War.
Ooh. Is it at Oregon or is it in Corvallis?
It's at Oregon.
You're not gonna like it, but give me both picks and the Ducks. Sure. Dang, Oregon State's defense is nice. I'm gonna go Oregon 31-17 by 2 tutties.
All right, I've got the Beavs. I'm gonna go 35-20 Beavs. Gonna give some love to DJU there. And then on the Iron Bowl, yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty close to what you said. You said 45-10?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll say like 35-17. We'll say 35-17. And then the big game, yeah, I think Michigan wins, and I think if they do, they probably blow them out again. I think they're just built to beat this Ohio State team. I think they probably win like 35-21, at least by a couple of tutties. So we'll go with that. And then let's see. All right, who's got somebody? Everybody in the chat. Tell you what, give me the score for. What's up, Sippin'? Give me the score for Texas Tech in the chat with the winner, of course. And then closest one to it, I'll send you a T-shirt. BYU Okie Light. Throw that one in there too. Professor, what's up? Hey, man, thank you, sir. Love you too.
All right.
Love you
so,
too. Man.
BYU, Oklahoma State. Give me Oklahoma State 38-20. 38-20
Okie Light. All right.
And then
now you're getting booed.
I'm used to it. That's fine. And you said Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Just because I know I have a feeling somehow, some way it's going to be rigged. Give me Texas Tech winning 24-20.
Nice. 24-20.
With an asterisk. Make sure you got the asterisk in there. It will be rigged somehow, some way.
Well, there's definitely an asterisk. I've got a shirt with an asterisk for the last Bedlam game. OSU 45. Oh man, no, see. No. There you go, Cam. I'm going to say BYU. Okay. I'll tell you what. Okay. I'll give one. If BYU wins that game, I'll give go ahead and put that in there too. If BYU wins that game, I'll give away a shirt for that one too. Not giving one away if Okie Light wins. There we go. 35-6 Texas. There we go. Yeah, man, I think they've got it revved. I think he's got the officials lathered up and ready to screw them. So let's see. That'll be on Friday, man. They'll have it all out of the way, be able to coordinate Okie Light versus Kansas State Saturday. That's how it's going to go. Poke choke happens. Hey, man, again, somebody finish my sentence for me. Never underestimate
Spencer
the gag reflex of Mike Gundy and his football teams. No,
I was
I'm
wrong.
gonna say it again. Never, never, never underestimate the gag reflex of Mike Gundy. There we go. Okie wins because the Big 12 don't want the SEC teams in the title game. Yeah, probably. They've been, hey, look, you can look at it all. I mean, look, you cannot allow, I mean, look, I'm still not going to sit here and say OU doesn't have its own fault in losing the Bedlam game, but they got help. They got help. But you needed to win that game. You had opportunities to win that game and not have it come down to that. But the poke choke does happen. And look, this always when they are right on the verge of their chance is when the poke choke. That's why it's a choke, right? So even though they won last week on the road, yeah, they're not. But see, now, Robbie, I'm not giving one away for that one. Oh, no, yeah, you've got BYU there. Never mind. My fault. Got you. I don't trust BYU. Oh, I get it, man. I get it. BYU gave all they had against us. Come on, Sippin.
If that game was in Provo, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. But they haven't.
Yeah. It's not though. And that's the whole thing. Here's the thing. The truth of it is the best chance that any of the new four have had is being at home in any of those games. Of course, UCF almost beat Oklahoma in Norman, but it is what it is. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about all we needed to talk about. Oh, well, let me ask you this. Hot seats. Who's gonna get fired? Do you see guys like Billy Napier? Is he gone? They're gonna give him more time. He shouldn't be gone, but
he's not because he's put. I think they have a really. Now I know they've had a couple decommits here lately,
but they're still top 5, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know after these last two because they had another one I think last weekend or earlier this week. But he's got a good recruiting class. He's in some hot water. Got to win football games next year. I'll give you another one. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Heupel. Obviously, not this year, but I think his
seat going to be on the hot seat. You mean?
Yeah, I think the water's going to get hot for him.
He's got a quarterback that I'm not sure why he didn't use this year, but
his parents want him to redshirt. Came out. His parents said, "Hey, we asked him to redshirt him. That's why he hasn't played this year."
Okay.
So I'll take that for what it is. Somebody that needs to be on the hot seat that probably isn't is James Franklin. You only play 2 games every year, and you can't win either one of them.
Right. Yeah. You think Pittman's gone?
No, the AD came out Sunday and said that Pittman's back next year.
That's the weirdest shit in the world to me. But that just because he got the vote of confidence doesn't necessarily. They could change their mind. Who do they play this week?
No, the man when it's been swirling for 2 weeks that you're firing a guy and then you come out and say he's our coach in 2024. I think if they were wanting to fire him, he would just kept his mouth shut.
It's a good question to ask. Is he on the hot seat? Shane.
Man, get out of here, Shawty. Come on, bro.
16 and 17, 3 years.
Hey, we're not Georgia. We're not Georgia. We are very happy with going to a bowl game after we beating Clemson 2 years in a row. We're cool with it. We're chill. We're putting together a good recruiting class. 25 is going to be a good recruiting class. Now I will say this, and he's got 2 more years. In 2025, he has to win at least 8 games. If he doesn't win 8 games in 2025, if he goes 6-6 or 7-5 or something, he is on the hot seat. If he doesn't win 8 games in 25.
That's a lot of patience, man. That's a lot of patience, but I get it. Aranda, yeah, he's gone, Stephen G. He gone. That's already, I think that's a full conclusion and should be gone. I mean, it's silly stuff. Beamer's gone. Aranda gone. He gone. Yeah, no doubt. Wasted Spencer's career. Come, please. Spencer wasted his career.
But really though, we turned it. He came to South Carolina. Everybody thought that he was a waste, and now he's potentially played himself into a first round draft pick.
He's a second day guy for sure. He's a second day. I mean, for at the, I could see somebody taking a flyer on him for his arm or whatever. It would be somebody like, yeah, I don't know, but
he's going to combine well. He is going to combine well.
Sure. So, he's got the physical tools, no doubt. He's big. He's got a big arm. His accuracy is not terrible. It's just that when he gets under pressure, just like anybody else, but I mean, he's bad under pressure. So yeah, it is what it is.
He had 3 intentional groundings against Missouri.
Is Lincoln Riley on the hot seat? Y'all gonna get me started on this one again? He should be, and let me tell you something. People are so surprised at what's happened and why it happened. There's a reason behind it. I said this on Ty's show yesterday, but I'll just say it again. You got to realize that he wasn't handed the same things. So when he got the Oklahoma job, they were a year removed from their first playoff when they got beat by Clemson. That had just won their second straight conference championship out of eventually 6. He had Baker Mayfield. He had CeeDee Lamb. He had Samaje Perine. He had Joe Mixon. Did he have still Joe Mixon and Samaje, right? I think. Anyway, they were loaded. Okay. He had the Heisman quarterback coming in. And 20 years of culture backing it up. Multiple trips to play for the national championship. A national championship. You know, only a couple of times where they went like 8-5. That was the worst they really did under Bob Stoops. It's not the same thing as going to USC that went 4-8 and over since Pete left, they've been on probation and just struggle bus, you know, having guys like Sark and freaking Kiffin not help out. You know what I mean? Look, here's the bottom line. And then even with, you know, I don't think that Helton was great, but I think that he was all right. What they did have was an offensive line that helped. The defense was never going to be better. But here's the thing. It took him longer to screw up what was going on at Oklahoma than it did at USC because USC was more fragile. Oklahoma, he didn't remind me, guys, how long? Yeah, you're right. He had Rodney and okay. He had with Joe and Samaje. Okay, yes, you're right. Okay. But he still had CeeDee Lamb, right? You know, or and like Westbrook and guys like, or that was Dede was during the time whenever he was the OC as well, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot. Yeah, Mixon was head coach. Yeah, you're right. Okay, guys. In the end, like I'm saying, though, the culture in and of itself, in the strength and conditioning, they were built up to a point that they were still really good. There was no way that, you know, a 17, 18-year career under Bob Stoops, it didn't leave you the same thing. Now you get over to USC, you win 11 games, but it's also because you brought the Heisman quarterback with you. Their offensive line was probably what was decent over there. He was able to bring enough guys in the portal to keep him upright for most of the year anyway, and they didn't have to play Oregon or Washington. The good team that they played out of the Pac-12 last year beat them twice.
Well, no, they did have the good win against UCLA, though, last year. I will give them that.
But UCLA wasn't that good.
No, with DTR, they were good. Like, UCLA was good.
They were okay, man. They were okay, but they weren't that good. And the point is they barely beat them. And then they went on the road, and Oregon State was good, but they didn't have a quarterback, and they barely beat them. But what I'm saying is the better two teams that cannibalized themselves and kept themselves out because of them not having to play them were Washington and Oregon.
Yeah.
Look at what Penix and them did last year. The point is that when you've got, Benny Wiley goes over there with him. The point is you had 20 years of culture at Oklahoma that it's going to take longer. But by year 5, he knew that they were screwed, and he did not want to go to the SEC. He knew that. And now I think it's at a point where he doesn't really know how to build a program. Mike Leach is dead. It wasn't the right way to do it anyway. Okay. They just don't do it. when he fired Mike Stoops, then he probably lost, and certainly by the time he left Oklahoma, he lost Bob Stoops as a mentor. Who are you going to call now? Who are you going to call that's going to help you build this program? He doesn't have a lot of head coaches on his staff. If you look at Brent Venables, he's got head coaches on his staff.
Lincoln Riley needs to go to the Nick Saban School of Recovery for coaches.
Yeah, but he's got a freaking $110 million contract. They still owe him 90. He's got to figure out how to do this.
Well,
I don't know that he does. I think that, you hear guys like Prangley on the show last night that they did saying all they need is to get, a DC in here and save the recruits. No, that's not all they need. No. And I've been saying it all year. Nobody believed it. I said 8-4. They did me one better, 7-5.
I'll be honest with you too. The thing that a lot of people aren't talking about with their move to the Big Ten, the Big Ten is ugly football. They're going to run it down their throat. All their offensive linemen are 340 pounds. I mean, it's just big, nasty football. And so if they're trying to just outscore everybody, they'll beat some teams by doing that. But they're going to lose a lot of football games because they're going to just get out physical on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, they're going to get run over. They're going to get run over. It's just the way it's going to be. Texas Tech 24-21, says Alan Woody. Don't say what. What did he say? There, Hankster. Yeah. Look, I don't know. To me, but I also think that he did so bad this year, and I think he's been completely exposed at this point, that thought about him going to the NFL, unless it's as a coordinator, it ain't happening. He's not. Then nobody's going to take him with Caleb now. It's not happening. USC was 10 points away from 4-8. It was. Yep. 44-17. OU. Like it, Alan. Like it. BV has 3 head coaches on staff and 3 more waiting to become head coaches. No, you're right. And that's the point, is that and on top of that, he can still go to Bob Stoops and he can still go to Dabo and talk to them about, what do I need to do here? How do I need to do this? I mean, he's been a coach for a hell of a lot longer than Lincoln has. Lincoln was a GA when, they'd already won a national championship when Lincoln was a GA. Played for a couple more. That's the bottom line is, okay, they do have Cliff Kingsbury. You're right. Okay, yeah. I said a good one. I'm in a good one. I'm sorry there, Matt. I like it. Tebow to Bama as OC. Hell to the night. I don't know that he would or he wouldn't. You've heard Saban talk good about him, but I don't know. I think he would take him probably. I think. Listen, in the end, the point is that I don't think that he's not recruiting well. They're down to 18. They were like top 5, and in July they started hemorrhaging these guys. Hemorrhaging freaking talent. And unless they have this belief that they're going to get Jim Leonard, there ain't no fucking way Jim Leonard goes over there and gets hitched to that wagon. No way. No way. I don't think Dave Aranda does either. And Dave Aranda has ties to the school and to the area. I could see him being there. I don't think he would go and work for Lincoln. I don't. I think it's going to take one of those really young, I can do this guys. I can do it. But if you're the guy, you bet the stipulation with me would be Wiley got to go. And I want to be assistant head coach, and we're going to have to do things different. And honestly, if Lincoln really wants to win and wants to improve, he would love to have a guy like that. I don't agree with that, man.
Who would be a good
As a head coach, I don't buy it. No, never mind. Some of those owners are stupid enough to do it. You're right. Who would be worse than the guy in Dallas now, right?
Hey, man, come on now.
McCarthy, come on, bro.
Don't be taking shots at my Cowboys.
Mike McCarthy had freaking Aaron Rodgers all those years and won one Super Bowl and lost a shit ton of freaking NFC championship games.
Hey man, look, it's been a rough 30 years. Leave me alone.
Scary guy.
Been a rough 30 years. I'll tell you.
Why are you a Cowboys fan? Wow, okay.
Somebody that now personally I want him to come be the DC at South Carolina, but could be probably really useful for Lincoln would be Derek Mason. Previous head coach experience.
I don't know if he's in the run. That's a good one. I think I have heard him. Somebody was talking about him getting old boy from Penn State. That was at Miami. Come on. Why am I forgetting his name? I've been thinking about it all day. Anyway, yeah, I don't see it though.
Diaz.
Manny Diaz, yes.
Manny Diaz.
I mean, he's the one guy that's doing well there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why would he leave? He could end up with the Penn State job with they screw in, you know.
I mean, Lincoln loves drama. Go get the guy that got fired from Michigan State.
I know USCJ's thinking they're going to get Leonard. They're not. I don't see it. Do you see that, Sippin? I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Yeah, and that's the other part of it too. But he's not good at that. He's good at the portal. And again, guys, think about it. All I'm saying is it came apart a lot quicker here, just like we said, because it just wasn't built well there. I mean, they've had 15, 20 years of crap. That's the whole point. Caleb and Riley, you still do think that? I don't believe that anymore. I don't even know. If you're Caleb, do you really still want to be tied to Lincoln? He's getting your ass kicked. Making you cry like cry like a baby in the stands in your mom's arms. Shit. I wouldn't. Sorry, man. I'm just saying. Oh, man. You got to get. All right, Stat. Man, tell everybody how to find you. And,
man, y'all can find me on the Fanatic Sports Network with Coach I, co-host. We do college football previews. We have the Saturday night snap count every Saturday at 10:30 Eastern, going over all the big games throughout the day. We do a show on Wednesday at 8 p.m. most weeks, talking a little NBA hoops as that gets deeper into the season. And then we also got the show at 9 p.m. on Wednesday where Coach I rolls out his top 25 for his playoff rankings based on his own formula. It's all his opinion. Don't hate it. He wanted to have a little something different. But y'all be sure to check it out.
I like the formula. I don't hate the formula. I think some of the, G5 and, FCS love or whatever, or G5, I guess is what it is. But like Air Force wouldn't have hung around as long as they did, and probably JMU either. But that being said, I love the rankings. I think they've worked out. And I don't think they're that far off of what you're seeing with the CFP at this point either.
I mean, it's close. He has Liberty a lot higher, and other than that, it's very similar. But other than that, man, I'm always in the comments. I'm always down to talk some trash, especially about college football. Y'all bring y'all Spencer.
Man, you're always welcome on this show too, brother. I'm glad you're back around, feeling better. And thank you. I appreciate you coming in and helping me out tonight, man. We didn't have anybody else to come in for sure. And I was like, man, how come Stat isn't? I've seen Stat on the show a few times. I didn't know you. I've got to get over there and check out. Make sure you guys go over there and check out him and Seawalt getting down. It's going to be fun stuff. But thanks a lot again, man. I appreciate you coming in, bro.
Anytime, man. Shoot me a text anytime. I'm always down. Appreciate you.
Cool, brother. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. Later. The Stat guy, man. The Stat guy. Yeah. I mean, a man cries in mama's arms. I'm sorry. He just needs a bigger beard or something. Hey, on national television, like climbing into the stands to like really ball. Man, if you make a man do that, it's pretty bad. Needs a new cowboy. Oh shit, that's funny stuff, bro. That's funny stuff. Yeah, the players are not painting a good picture of Tebow, so high school players are steering clear. I think, look, I think offensively they're probably still going to be okay next year. But that being said, That kind of offense, we've really yet to see it, aside from Ohio State, kill it in the Big Ten. It's cold out there. They slow down in the cold, right? They slow down in the cold. And the bottom line is that where I'm at on the whole thing, and I'm going to get out of here too, but that where I'm at on the whole thing is that we all saw this coming and we could see it come. I mean, we've been talking 8-4. I mean, they did us one better, went 7-5. And like Hank said, they were 10 points away from being 4-8. There's very easily, they should have lost the Arizona game. They should have lost. They very well should have lost the Colorado game. If Colorado plays with urgency down the stretch to that football game, they win. Period. No, he won't. No, he's a South Carolina guy, so I don't see it. Yeah, it's all good, brother. You're good. He busts chops too, man. You're all good, brother. Tebow just lazy, doesn't want the work of a high school. I mean, I don't think that he's learned how to do it yet. He hasn't figured it, but he's gotten this idea of, or he's gotten this reputation of being so great that he is recruiting well on offense. But even that, I mean, think about it. Even that suffered this year. Taylor Tatum goes to Oklahoma. They lose Dylan Raiola to Georgia. And it sounded like if he didn't go to Georgia, he was going to go to Nebraska. Right? So it kind of is what it is. But at this point, I look at it in terms of he's in trouble and he doesn't know what to do. He's searching for answers. Who does he go to for him? Because even if Leach was still around, he didn't have the answers. He was going to tell him to keep doing what he was doing, and they were going to have a lot of 7-5 years. This is Mike Leach again. When he didn't get a situation as good as what he got at OU. And the other part of the reason that they continued to win 10 games every year at Oklahoma was because the Big 12 was shitty. Texas, irrelevant. Baylor, going through coaches, and they're still the second best team. Okie Lights. That's just what they do. You know? It's just what they do. Kansas State was in a down period. Kansas was in a perpetual down period. You know, they was getting better. He left. He got exposed by Aranda. And Aranda's not even like the guy. He did that with Matt Rule's guys, you know? In the end, I'm just saying, if you were paying attention like we all were, you saw it coming. But nobody wanted to hear that shit. You got on the Crown Black Label right now? Yeah. Bourbon or, yeah. Yep. Yeah, yeah, and look, I mean, he keeps the past of a program away like she did here. Yeah, look. But he was able to look, think about it. So he didn't fire Schmitty didn't leave until after the first year. Am I right on that? I want to make sure I'm right on that part. Okay. So then you had Stoops. He didn't get rid of him until the end of the season with Kyler in the second year. So that was going to keep your culture, the Stoops culture around, right? When Wiley got there, it started going down, but they still had a lot of guys that were there. And he still had Kel Gundy and, you know, the guys that were there, part of the program that, you know, didn't leave, that had been around forever. Yeah, he's an OC Bumbo. I'm sorry. This is what we're talking about. This is the truth. And he just didn't. It was harder to see that when he was at Oklahoma because, number one, the Big 12 sucked. And number two, he got handed a Cadillac. There was no engine in it in the one in USC. He brought one in Caleb, and they had enough of an offensive line there to keep them upright. But that defense and bringing Benny Wiley with him, and y'all weren't as stable at that point at SC. It's not even hate. It's not even hate on this one for you guys. It's just not. We were just, I mean, this is the truth of it. He left after Riley's first year. Right. That's what I was pretty sure about that. Yeah. Coaches learn from their predecessors. Yeah. But again, he was there how many years before Coach Stoops left? What, 3? Was it 3 years or something? I think maybe 4. I mean, yeah. And look, I don't blame him. I can't blame you guys for wanting that, because here's the deal. What is he going to do now? You're losing recruits day by day. And I don't think he has answers. The guys that he would ask are not the guys you want to ask for a blue blood program. I've always said that when you're bringing in guys like Grinch and you're running speed D and you're not being able to recruit, he recruits like he's at Texas Tech or ECU. That's what he recruits like. And that's where the full-on air raid works the best, is at those smaller schools. That's their equalizer. Speed. Because they're never going to get the big guys. They just don't get them. Yeah, look. I think the best coach that he had on his staff, he didn't hire him to be. Ruffin McNeil should have been his DC. He should have kept him as his DC, even though I don't think he's great. But Ruffin's a pretty good coach, right? He's way in over his head, man. Yeah, yeah, way in over his head. And I hate it. I hate it for you guys that are fans of it. We did try to, but Oklahoma fans have been saying it, and it's not just about haters. It's not just that. That's not what it is. Now, he definitely earned every terrible thing that Oklahoma fans have said about him. He earned them. But the truth is, there's a reason we've been saying it. I said 8-4 before the season, long before the season ever started. He did me one better and went 7-5. You could see it coming. Yeah, Ruffin knew what he was doing. And see, that's a guy that's been around the block enough times that he can keep you around and keep you level, and he can be your quote-unquote enforcer, like what Matt was talking about on that show last night. Oh, Hank, you should have seen Timmy Boy in there. Dude was triggered out, man. It was funny stuff. Yeah. Oh, man. And hey, y'all remember, I mean, you saw me on the show at the last show I did with Voice of College Football. Looks prophetic now. Yeah. Sipping, thank you for coming in, my brother. I'm fixing to get out of here too. Guys, I appreciate everybody coming in. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Please, if let's see, I don't know how many people we've had in here. If you hadn't hit that like button, I hope you do. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Sipping. Everybody, I hope, has a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you are around your loved ones, enjoying your time. We'll definitely be on Friday. I've got a couple of things. I'm going to throw a video out. We'll talk a little bit more about this stuff and probably a preview. I got to get to the job and do some stuff, but tomorrow I'll be able to do some of that. But definitely, guys, everybody enjoy your holiday and hug your loved ones. Make sure that, hey, you never know. You never know whenever you're going to lose them. So we've seen a lot of folks that we've over the last few years. I've seen a lot of folks that even my age that are just dropping. So tell people you love them when you get that opportunity to, and enjoy your time with your people whenever you have an opportunity to. I wish all of you guys a happy Thanksgiving. As I said, you guys are the reason that I continue doing this week after week. The coach, I know he sends his regards to you as well. He was unable to be on the show tonight. They're already kind of doing their Thanksgiving thing. Okay. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited that you guys are here, and love it when you guys all come in and talk ball with us. It's still, yeah, He's still sniffing T-bones. Yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny stuff, bro. That was funny. But yeah, listen, grateful. And look, we can be grateful for this season that we've seen out of these Sooners. You know, it's a couple of steps away from what you want, but probably still a step ahead of where you expected that they were. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. Guys, I appreciate everybody. Make sure you get over there. If you're not already a member of the Mafia, you should jump in there and join up on that. And hey, get over there to our get over there and check out the Devil Dogs Brew and Beans. And you know, hey, I'll go ahead and just throw that up there real quick. You can use the QR code right here, or here it is at hofmedia.us/coffee. Get free shipping every time you use our link. If it's your first time to order, you get 10% off of your order. And you know, we've got our coffee mug in there. He also did a t-shirt like this as well in there in the store. So get up to 10% off everything. Be good stocking stuffers, gift stuff like that. Get in there and check it out. And hey, I appreciate you guys just coming in. The free way to do it again is always just hit that like button, man. Okay. All right, man. But I love all you guys and happy Thanksgiving. We will talk to you again. See you on the next one Friday for sure, if not before then. Have a good one.